2 days after the following interview, I booked a recurring role on Nickelodeon. This is your friend. You should be seeing them off into the sunset, yet all you can make out are the heights you aren't reaching. And then a wet, sticky guilt washes over you for only thinking about yourself. Dr. Cason is a cognitive behavioral psychologist with over 20 years of experience. Would you be open to an interview?
All right, folks, we've been cleared for takeoff.
During the flight, I asked creatives for hurdles they were struggling with. It encouraged me that most of us deal with the same general problems, nuanced to fit our personal circumstances. How do we face comparing ourselves to our friends?
I don't think that comparing ourselves is necessarily wrong. That's what human beings do in general. You would have to compare yourself to a person who's exactly the same as you are. Same age, same look, same everything. I try to teach all of my clients to learn to question their own thoughts sometimes, because thoughts are not reality. They're just something that's being generated by your brain.
And social media is the biggest conduit to comparing ourselves.
The research says if you're on Facebook and only look at your own Facebook profile, you'll actually fare much better.
I freaking suck. No, I'm not gonna think that. It's natural to suppress thoughts, but this may not be the most effective strategy. It might even be harmful.
When we have thoughts and we think, I can't think this,
Right.
we actually push it down, but we put pressure on it so that it'll come rushing back up.
What we call milk thoughts are a strong tool to have in your arsenal here. These are similar to an actor's process on stage.
They can't go out on the stage and suddenly remember, I have to buy milk. They have to just let it go like a balloon. Let it go. Because there's no way. They have to stay perfectly focused on their role.
It is important to label those negative thoughts as milk thoughts and let them go. Labeling is key. Let go of your resistance and emotions towards those thoughts. Thoughts are like people. Those you've loved or hated stick in your mind. The uneventful ones just pass by. I'm good at this. I'm worthy. I am... If you're anything like me, affirmations don't do shit.
What I do with people is try to remind them of past successes that they've had. Key in on where you've overcome the obstacles you've been through, and to remind yourself of your own skills, your own abilities. Your brain will go, oh yeah, I've done this before. We can employ this, and this. It is possible for you to do this because you've done it before.
Remember kindergarten? You played that chicken? Funniest chicken in the coop. Middle school, the pig that built his house out of sticks. Those dads were weeping. Do I always play farm animals? Sometimes creative people have a lot of ideas and they're all like flying around, they all write them down. And then you have this long list of ideas and you look at that and you're like, oh, it's gonna be so much work.
It's not that making a big list is the problem. It's what you do with that list and breaking it down, making different levels, and then breaking those top tasks into really manageable tasks. I suggest taking 3 things that you're going to focus on. I'm going to make a movie, and what are the 3 huge tasks to try to focus on to get done?
In today's world, we battle distractions every second. How do we keep these easy dopamine hits from diverting us from our goals?
Pre-Mac principle. Say, I cannot look at Instagram, TikTok until you've done, let's say, half an hour of this particular task. At the end of that half an hour, they have to give themselves the reward. Because if you start lying to your brain and saying, at the end of half an hour, I'm going to do this. And then at the end of half an hour, you're like, I have other things to do. I'm going to go on. I don't really want to look at TikTok right now. I'm going to go outside. Then your brain goes, oh, so you're not really serious. So the next time you make that deal, we're not going to believe you. You can go on TikTok for 10 seconds. I don't care. But you did it. Your brain will think, if I do this task, I can get this reward. And if you do that enough, it starts to really take hold.
One big thing also for actors is like constant rejection.
I think this constant rejection is a muscle that needs to be built up because it's not easy, and every actor gets lots of rejection. There was a great experiment, I thought, done by a particular psychologist named Albert Ellis. It was like a one-person experiment, but I love this experiment. Albert Ellis was not known to be the most attractive guy. He lived in New York City and went on a park bench and decided he would sit on the park bench, and every single woman who sat down next to him, he would ask out on a date. He did it 100 times and collected 100 rejections. By the end, he was so okay with collecting rejections, he did it 100 more times. One of the women agreed to meet him the next day on the park bench.
She's saucy.
And she didn't show up.
Oh!
By the end of that, he felt like he could go up to anyone and ask them, because he knew being rejected was okay. To expand that, the way to be okay would be to go on 100 auditions and really just push yourself.
To get rejected?
Well, not necessarily. He wasn't trying to get rejected. He just was willing to get rejected. And the willingness is what sets us apart.
If you're interested in more professional interviews, click here to watch a dermatologist tell you how to look your best on camera.